Hello, roads optional here. What is not optional is having a proper infotainment system in a car. Now there's something fun about having an old school Jeep, manual, rowing gears, it smells like 1993 in there. But I did want to bring the interior up a notch, or a few notches. So I have partnered with ATOTO to bring it into the 21st century. So it's snowing and freezing outside.
Wow, much frigid, much snow. Wow.
So I thought this is a great time to just work in the garage for a bit. There's a lot of things I want to do to this Jeep. I actually made a video of all my plans for the Jeep, so you can check that out up here. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun with Jeeps. Doors off, roof off, music blasting. It was awesome. That's really how I fell in love with it. With this one, the music quality is not great. Now, there's a lot of things I'll do to address that in the long run, like better speakers, better subwoofer, like I'll go down that route eventually, but just like with the Miata right here behind you, I actually did the head unit first, and that made a big difference. So I'm gonna try the same thing with this. So as you can see in here, it's very 90s, which is okay, but I have a 5-disc CD changer. I don't really have any CDs besides Taylor Swift, so I just have Taylor Swift CDs in here. And I do have an FM transmitter, which sounds terrible. So I'm excited to put some actual Apple CarPlay or Android Auto for you folks out there. And see how it works. Plus it's wireless Apple CarPlay to Android Auto, which is awesome. So let's go do some unboxing. Right, so this is the head unit in question, the ATOTO S8 MS. It's their new one, and it's gonna be awesome, I think. QLED display. What else do you need? Well, you can get a lot of this stuff from Crutchfield. I actually pieced it together myself from Amazon, but Crutchfield is easier in some ways. This is a Chrysler Dodge Jeep wiring harness adapter, so that makes it easy to attach to your existing wiring harness. This is a dash kit by Metra. That's the company that makes a lot of these, which adapts the trim inside the Jeep that you saw earlier. We'll just take that out and pop this in, and it has room for the head unit and everything. These are a recommended method of connecting wires together. They are heat shrinking, solder, whatever that you need a heat gun to actually trigger the solder part of it. So that's that. You do need a couple tools, screwdrivers, flathead Phillips, dash trim removal tools, and a 10mm socket if this is your first time getting the head unit out, because there's a security bolt in the OEM factory head unit thing. Plus a Dremel is really great. I've tried other Dremels in other videos before and they were bad, so I decided to get the actual name brand one. This is a plug-in one just like the heat gun, so not super convenient in some ways, but there's a piece inside the dash we apparently have to cut to make this head unit fit. An alternative to this is something like a crimp cap or wiring nuts or whatever. Those are less reliable, especially on something as bumpy as a Jeep, so I do recommend something that is soldered and heat shrunk somehow. There's also the possibility of, if you have a newer Jeep or newer other vehicle that has steering wheel controls, like my Miata did, there's a steering wheel control adapter you might need as well. I don't have that problem. This Jeep's not smart enough to have steering wheel controls, which is totally fine.
Yeah, tell me what to do.
To get started, remove the top piece of trim from above the dash. It just pulls up, held by a couple clips, but be careful, it is delicate, especially the mesh that covers the center defrost vent. Then there's 2 Phillips screws at the top, after which you can pull off the front fascia. With the screws removed at the top, the plastic surround is held in by 4 metal clips, 2 on each side, which may pull out with it. You'll need pliers or strong fingers to remove them from the original piece and move them to the new surround plastic. Then there's 4 screws holding in the factory head unit. You can also see us unscrewing the HVAC, which I don't think we actually needed to do. You'll also want to remove the glove box so you can access the 10mm security bolt behind the radio. It's obnoxious to get to, but a ratcheting 10mm wrench did wonders in helping us get it out. Good luck not letting the bolt fall into the abyss. Then unplug the factory wiring harness and antenna. Oh, and don't forget to remove your precious Taylor Swift CD first. It's like impossible to get it out without power. Now we screw the HVAC back in because, yeah, we didn't actually need to remove it.
Welcome to our office.
Yeah.
So, wanted to explain the wiring situation. So this is what came with the ATOTO head unit. That's their wiring
thing. There's a whole diagram of what all these mean, but they're also all labeled super conveniently, one side per language. So
But it doesn't matter because it goes color to color, so you don't have to read anything. You just can't be colorblind.
Yeah. So if you are colorblind, that's why they're labeled. But this is the Metra 70-6502, and that's for this specific 2002 up to like 2009 or something Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep wiring harness. So this will plug into the thing we unplugged from the OEM head unit. So this is how they're all connecting to each other. Again, it's all color coded. In some cases you may have 3 wires, like I'm doing a reverse camera as well. So this is how this grabs power from this. So 3 wires all went together. The pink went to something not on this one because the pink also goes to the reverse camera because pink is, I don't know, something else. Detecting wire, detects whether it's in reverse. So that tells, basically pink collects from the other side, we'll show that later, collects the fact that it's being powered from the reverse light, which tells the head unit, oh, the reverse light's on, switch to the reverse camera. It's all brilliant. So
yeah, we'll see if it actually works though.
Yeah. So, and because I don't have steering wheel controls, some of these are unused. I also am not using a 3.5 millimeter input. That's how you also do steering wheel control. And this is ground. So
the
we
last
have
one
left. We did it 13 times to see if we could do it.
Yeah, we're gonna screw up the last one.
So I can't really film while doing this, but here's how it works.
Put it together.
Yeah, so we're using these, again, heat shrinking things with solder inside. So you slide one end onto the wire, slide the other wire into the other end.
Twist it up to make it even easier if you can, and then you put her in.
Slide them in together, and then you want ideally all the,
if it works,
all the wiring to be inside past the colored tips, because that's where you use the heat gun on all of this. The heat gun will melt the solder on top of the wires, giving a really solid connection, and then also melt the edges, or I guess shrink them. That's how they respond to heat. So that's how this works. There's a lot of videos on how to do this, and there's probably better videos on how to do the heat gun situation, but
just apply heat and give it a good rip.
Yeah, so we're just explaining how we do it, and we've been doing it for all these, and it works.
Maybe not.
There's a lot of different sizes, which we might need a bigger one for this.
For sure.
Okay, we got your overalls, and we are set in the back of the ATOTO. So everything fits in exactly where
it's supposed
to because of the amount of pins. So you can't worry about pinning something in the wrong place. So we have
a bunch of extra wires that aren't going to get used.
Yeah. So I guess they could be used for future things, but this is the reverse camera input, which feeds into this stuff. I mean, it's kind of confusing if you it's easy to get overwhelmed by this, but
if you just take a second to think, it's easy.
Yeah, we've got the microphone input going to something else here. This is all for other things that could be used in the future, like subwoofer connection, separate external amps,
PS2,
PlayStation 2. Yeah, we have a 4G SIM slot,
and a GPS,
and a GPS antenna,
which is just going to get thrown into the back of the head unit because
we'll figure it. I don't know.
All right, let's go do this.
So we've got some cables that we started wiring back into here. Now everyone knows this thing is supposed to be cut out. What's up? He made it. I don't know what this is.
That's the phone plug.
Phone plug, USB plug, and the microphone I fed all the way through there, down through here, up along the steering column, not on the steering column, but came out that same hole. So microphone's up there right in the middle. Yeah, so the wirings we're attempting to keep kind of clean, and then we'll just wrap up whatever we don't use. Like the microphone wire is going to be
wrap up. What do you mean?
Way too long.
Throwing it all to the back of there.
Spider web it back there.
Yeah.
So now we're going to see how the head unit mounts to this thing. So I guess we do have to cut out this plastic piece not because of the head unit. The head unit's nice and shallow. It's the mounting plates for the head unit that are deeper, which I guess makes sense, makes it very securely stable in there. But you can use a Dremel, which I have here, but I'm not using it because it's just didn't quite have the right angle. But this hacksaw, $3 from Ace Hardware on the for sale shelf. And I bought it because I was like, maybe I'll need this someday. And here we are.
Here we are.
We'll see if this does the trick, but it feels like
like it's the perfect shape and size, and we're just gonna try to cut out this plastic piece without cutting any wires or vacuum tubes or anything. Okay. Just slow and steady, I guess.
Trash. Pieces back together. Oh, we got lights.
Nice. All right, power works.
Holy cow, this is bright.
That's good.
Finally ripped off the plastic and got it dremeled in. Wow, it's so reflective. I can see you perfectly. This thing looks fantastic. Almost OEM plus, dare I say. So we had to Dremel a little tiny bit around the edges of this Metra adapter plate. We ended up not using these included by, I think ATOTO included these in with the head unit, because I'm sure it'd work with a lot of vehicles, but these were so wide that these did not go far enough out to catch these holes. So the Metra ones were ironically too narrow, or too wide, so we had to actually Dremel out each little bit, just a tiny bit.
On that plate that was on the inside there, you saw us cutting just slots into the side, but we ended up actually having to cut the whole thing out. So
yeah,
that whole brace that was in the middle there originally is gone.
It's on the floor now. So this is looking really super good. I think basically time to put in the whole adapter plate, see how it looks.
Besides the metal clips, you'll also need to retain the factory vents from the original plastic surround. Those pop out from the front, and then you can pop them into the front of the new Metra surround. You'll also need to add in the upper storage tray, which I think just uses a couple screws. This can't be done after mounting it, so now is the time. And we can now test fit the whole thing.
You can't be better
That
than
looks
that.
like a JL.
You cannot be better than that.
It took a ton of iterations to figure out which holes to use in the side mounting plates provided by the Metra Surround dash kit. We ended up dremeling some of the holes out to elongate them to get it to fit. We even flipped to the left and right and tried upside down. Nothing was quite exactly right, but it's darn close, and I'm pretty happy for now.
Right, so welcome to the next morning. Haven't even had my coffee, haven't had my voice wake up yet, but I am super thrilled. The head unit is done. Here it is in all its glory after so many renditions of adjusting it, fine-tuning it to get it to sit right. But now it actually feels very solid. Basically it's in the right planar field, to say it that way. It's in the right position. It might just need to come out a little bit more, which means I might have to Dremel a bit more on the mounting plates. Not ATOTO's fault. They included brackets that would normally fit most cars, but this one being, you know, a weird old Jeep, the brackets that the Metra harness came with was just not quite perfect for it. So I have all these existing speakers, 4x6 in there, I think 5 point something up in the sound bar up here. I want to upgrade those eventually. There's also 6.5-inch drivers, subwoofer in the center console below all that stuff. I want to upgrade all that stuff eventually, but this really did solve my goal of making the sound quality improved. Incremental improvements, that's kind of the name of the game for this whole Jeep, this whole project. The only major challenge was just us figuring out exactly how to connect the head unit to where it fits in this hole. The challenge is that you can't mount the head unit to this actual dash piece. So you're basically guessing where it goes, then trying to mount this dash piece, most likely being wrong, and then moving the dash piece off and then trying again. So that was iterations for hours, but eventually got it. So before we fully wrap up this video, I want to show you a few call out features on this head unit here. Going to fire up the Jeep, just the accessory power, and close the door so it stops beeping. But here you go, the head unit in all of its glory. You can actually tell it's a very clean screen.
And because it has wireless CarPlay, it actually interrupted my video recording, but wireless CarPlay is definitely one of the key features of this head unit I was excited about. As you can see, it's pretty responsive, and the resolution's actually really great. In the head unit in my Miata, doing a split screen like this results in a bit smaller things, and it's just harder to fit everything on there. Somehow they did it with better resolution on here. So that's how CarPlay works, and it works just fine. But you can also go back into the ATOTO unit itself and yeah, customizable wallpaper and even a customizable setup screen, which I'll do eventually. But there's a few features I wanted to call out in here. I'm hoping to do a better, like more in-depth review of this head unit and backup camera. Actually probably on my other channel, Flywheel Films, just because that's who they officially sent this to. But I did want to definitely feature this on Roads Optional because I think this is a great addition for Jeeps. But you can adjust where the icons go and stuff, and there's Chrome, YouTube. You can connect to Wi-Fi, which I don't currently have connected because that'll cut out CarPlay. I wanted to show you CarPlay first, but you can connect to Wi-Fi, and then this basically becomes an Android, you know, home head unit thing. So then you can watch YouTube videos as long as you have Wi-Fi, or if you connect to your phone hotspot, that works too. Even has the Android or Google Play stores. You can download other apps that way. Then there's built-in methods for Apple Music and podcasts, as well as other things, I'm guessing. Or I guess that's just music player. Yeah, just looks like the Apple Music logo. And that's actually radio, which looks like the podcast logo. So I don't know, guess that's different. But there are also ways to connect other systems to this. So you could have your torque connection or your TPMS, steering wheel controls set up. There's a lot of different features built into this. I haven't even fully explored everything. You can connect, of course, cameras, aux. I could maybe plug my PS2 into this. That'd be hilarious. And there's even a file manager, so it's a pretty robust file system. But basically what I keep is my little home screen here. I might get rid of this radio thing because, let's see, X, get rid of that. Cool, so I'll put something else there maybe. Wow, live wallpapers even. Oh, and here's widgets. So I could put, weather and the clock. I'll do that right there. There we go. See how easy it is to do stuff. Is that correct? Not quite correct. I need to fix the date. I haven't done any of that stuff yet, but here's where you hit the phone thing to connect to your phone. And then EQ was super fun. This has the ability to do front and rear EQ separately. And so if you do want to screenshot this or whatever, this is how I have it set up to fit the factory Jeep TJ premium audio. I say premium in quotes because I don't think it's that great of a speaker system, but this head unit did improve the sound quality, which is awesome. Not really showing you a song because I'm filming on my phone and copyright issues and things like that, but it's slightly better than even the old head unit where even when you play a CD. So CDs are not always better quality. People need to get over that. Crossover is where you can adjust, crossover. Sound field, I have it moved slightly forward, but you can optimize for different things. And then bass boost, I just have turned off. You can even do time correction, which is done through the sound field. But yeah, EQ is pretty great. So it takes a little bit of getting used to. There's a lot of features built into here, even Google Maps. So you can actually get a data plan for this head unit. It has a SIM card slot, which is super cool. So I could actually have data, which is just like a modern car, which brings this almost 20-year-old Jeep up to the modern day and age. But yeah, a lot of different settings, just a lot to play with. I will continue playing with it and show you guys stuff, whenever I get out in the field, on the roads, on the trails. But as an initial first look, this is awesome. I haven't done the reverse camera yet, but for a head unit install, this is what I'm pretty happy with. So, wanted to also mention, this is just where I throw my phone. This is the Sync Thing phone mount for MagSafe phones, just slots right there. And it's out of the way of the screen, but I can still see it if I need to. It's actually right by the vent, which helps cool the phone down or heat the phone up, depending on the circumstances. But phones typically have issues overheating in the summer, so I could blast cold air on the phone to keep it cool. I've thought about a lot of things, as you can probably tell.
Look at that. This view shows just how great it looks and how relatively OEM, actually, if you ask me, just slightly. And part of that's due to that Metra dash kind of piece, the plastic piece. But yeah, by the way, links will be in the description below with where to find this ATOTO head unit, and I will also throw the reverse camera down there as well, because they go hand in hand. And for a lot of cars, I think that's really an easy installation. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to do the reverse camera on the Jeep. Now I think I'm going to do a separate video for that, because I want to get this video out to you guys and maybe even get people's input on how to do the reverse camera the best. Because typically what you do is mount a reverse camera somewhere in the rear, obviously, and wire it to the reverse lights so it gets power when the reverse lights turn on. But I do want it to be powered all the time, so I could just switch to the reverse camera even when I'm not in reverse. But it'd be nice if I could still tell the head unit that it's being reversed. So I need to look into that. If you guys have a solution, definitely let me know. But the reverse camera, ATOTO included, can mount here. It has a license plate mount bracket, or it has a screw-on bracket, or even a 3M adhesive bracket. It could just sit over here, but to really be quote-unquote perfect, sorry, I'm drying out my carpet because I may have done a car wash, and it's a Jeep. I took the center cap out of the mounted wheel, put it on the wheel that was missing a center cap. So now all 4 mounted wheels have center caps. This one doesn't. This would be the perfect place for a dash cam. Now, they would involve some sort of solution getting it up on, there's just like metal thing behind here. I think maybe plastic, I don't know. This would be the perfect place. If I could somehow fab something there, but then the challenge is getting wiring through the door. There is wiring that goes to the 3rd brake light, but I don't know if that's like constant power or not, or if that's just power through the brake light. And that gets its wiring through these contactors here. I have seen people add more contactors in here, which is kind of a really cool solution. So there's a lot of options. I could also maybe do something on the bumper. But yeah, curious what's worked for you guys. And this is, again, a brand new platform to me, so trying to figure out the best solution. But now it makes me want to put an ATOTO head unit in the Miata for my other channel, Flywheel Films, and also, yeah, probably a better reverse camera in that as well. So that may all be happening soon. I'm also going to do a full review, like living with this head unit, plus the dash camera plus the reverse camera once that's done. And that'll be on Flywheel Films as well. So just trying to balance content between these 2 channels. And yeah, love this thing. It's turning into quite the fun machine. And I think a dash camera will be another future video here soon, very soon.
So there you have it, quick ATOTO, well, not super quick for me, but quick for you watching this video, ATOTO head unit install on the Jeep. Pretty big fan of that head unit. The resolution is nice, the brightness is super great. I'll show you that out in the daylight at some point, but just so you could see it clearly while I'm filming, I just posted it in the garage. And yeah, super easy install, honestly easier than I expected. Just follow a wiring diagram, and honestly I really recommend a heat gun and the like solder or heat shrink wire tube things. Those are phenomenal experience, and it should last a long time even on some bumpy trails. And the head unit itself improved the sound quality, which is what I was hoping would happen. Still not great sound because of just the trash speakers used in these Jeeps, so that will be something in the future as well. Stay tuned for that. And if you have any speaker recommendations, actually drop those below. I'd love easy plug and play, but I'm not afraid to do something a bit more involved. If you do it more involved, I'm curious what your solution is for like the subwoofer. I'd rather not do a sub under the rear seat because sometimes I take the rear seat out to haul things around. So what are your other options for sub, amp locations? I mean, I'm gonna get creative with the storage on this Jeep, but I am such a fan of this thing. And yeah, let me know what else you wanna see. But huge thanks to ATOTO for sending over the head unit, and I'll definitely leave links down below. Let me know your thoughts, let me know if you have any questions, and let me know if you've had any unique experiences with your head units. We can all share the wealth of knowledge. So, thanks. Cheers.
Man, my hand.